If we could, let's finally spend a couple of minutes sharing some insights from the recent Voices of LGSOC meeting, which was our response to Dr. Gersonson's session last year, talk last year that he participated with, and my talk with him about patient advocacy groups helping researchers. And so we learned that there was a systematic approach, to ensure that patients' experiences, perspectives, needs, and priorities are captured and meaningfully incorporated into drug development and evaluation, that the U.S. Food and Drug Administration had created this, I think it was 2012, a patient-focused drug development meeting initiative. And then they later created the initiative that was for externally led patient-focused drug development meetings for rare diseases. So that externally led one had these criterion, and that for if a disease was considered rare and could hold these meetings. So we realized that LGSOC met the criteria and characteristics of this rare disease, and together with the support of our partners, STAAR hosted the meeting, which was in October, this past October, and attended by the staff of the FDA, our global research community, pharmaceutical companies, and most importantly, the LGSOC patients. During the meeting, we had 20 patients who bravely shared their experiences, shared the needs, their perspectives about living with LGSOC, and their thoughts and perspectives on the current and future treatments. Other patients were able to write in. We did a big push. World Ovarian Cancer Coalition, Cure Our Ovarian Cancer, STAAR, over the summer did a big push trying to collect stories from patients, and then patients for a month after the meeting were even able to share their thoughts. There is a full recording of this meeting that can be found on the STAAR website. We will be able to post it on everyone's website who wants it, and it's going to be on the FDA website soon. So I wanted to share the meeting, just a little background about that. It held importance for patients. It held importance for the FDA, for researchers, industry, patient advocacy organizations. And the importance for the patients, Jane touched on this, that they were able to be heard. Their experiences were validated. They were able to hear about other patients' stories, hopefully lessening the isolation that they may feel, where cancer patients often feel. Through the meeting, the FDA was able to gain an understanding of what life was like for women living with this disease, including the side effects, the kind of endpoint of I can take it or I can't take it anymore. They were able to hear about what type of symptom side effects that women that were having, as well as treatments, what their feeling was on current treatments that they were taking. Further, the FDA was able to hear patients' perspectives on clinical trials and their hopes about clinical trials and about drug development. Patient organizations, STAAR, Cure Ovarian Cancer, World Ovarian Cancer Coalition, we were able to learn what needs exist for patient education and where we could plug in advocacy-wise, that what needs weren't being met, that we could help patients get. Researchers, pharmaceutical companies that were participant at the meeting were able to hear major concerns from patients, which can be used in developing treatments, which, like again, side effects are and are not tolerable. We do have a brief segment that we want to share from the meeting during the panel discussion part of the meeting, where the women were asked specifically what we should be looking for in future treatments. So we're going to share that.
And so here, maybe we can start with you, Bailey. This is kind of, an opportunity to, help us understand, what are your treatment goals or priorities? What would be, again, short of that cure, kind of top of your list of what you would like to see?
Sure. My number one priority that I picked is to prevent treatment progression,
Yeah.
so that I can be here longer. Of course, quality of life is important, very important, but I need to be here for my family.
Yeah.
So that's what I chose.
Yeah. And in terms of that kind of priority of being able to prevent, help with the progression, is there, obviously if we could completely stop the progression, that would be kind of curative. Is there a way that you think about, if a drug could come along and help with some of that progression, would that be of benefit to you? Or, kind of what would your, internal, I don't want to say a metric, but what are your goalposts?
Sure. So, like I said earlier, my disease is on my bowel. So, the function of my bowels has been greatly impacted
Yeah.
uh, by this. So, just having functioning bowels,
Yeah.
and I think Jess mentioned having to get up at a restaurant and, or during the middle of a ball game, during an important moment. And it's just
Right.
constant. It's constant.
Yeah.
So I spend a, a lot of time in the bathroom,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, and being a teacher of young kiddos, I can't just leave the classroom to go to the bathroom anytime. So it's greatly impacted my career as well, unfortunately. So that would be very important to me for treatments
Yeah.
moving forward.
No, that's very helpful. Thank you so much. Jess, I'd like to get your thoughts on this question of, what would you look for in a ideal future treatment?
Um, Early detection that's accurate, that takes into account your family history and sort of the genetic makeup that you're dealing with, and how that kind of can tell a story about where you're at and what treatments make sense for you. Like so many people with this disease, you have these sort of subtle symptoms, these vague symptoms that can be literally anything. And oftentimes the doctor will dismiss it because they're so vague. So, a future with an encouraged early detection test that people don't have to seek out
Yeah.
because their sister or mother had ovarian cancer would be great. Because I have young cousins who are begging their doctors to do a CA-125 blood test or a vaginal x-ray of sorts, and they are turned down. They are told that insurance will not cover it. You got to wait until you have a symptom, and that's crazy because I had no symptoms. So some sort of early detection.
Yeah, it's an interesting take. Not the treatment itself, but something that helps. More tailored and early intervention is what I'm hearing loud and clear from you, Jess. So thank you. Kind of just going around here, Jane. Same question. What is kind of your top treatment goal or preference for a future treatment?
Yes, well, I think I probably speak for a lot of people in that the effectiveness on the cancer is the top priority in terms of that, and ideally shrinking the cancer too, because cancer comes with side effects, and keeping it away for as long as possible. But thinking back to kind of the nice to haves, really, one of the things that hasn't been discussed yet is just easy administration. And so I think, letrozole, it's not necessarily a nice drug, but the fact that you can take it at home, it doesn't need to be refrigerated, it's easy to access, is that convenience, whereas one of the other treatments I have is a big thick needle that I need to visit the doctor every 3 months for. And if you're traveling and you need that, then that becomes slightly more awkward. You do have to plan your life around that a little bit, and that's a lot less inconvenient than a lot of the other treatments that are out there, I know. So
Yeah, I appreciate you raising this, Jane, because it's, you kind of have your top priority, but this is something that can really help, make things more accessible and more even approachable and tolerable for people. So thank you for adding that to kind of this list that we're building of kind of future treatment goals.